The Minnesota Vikings and the Detroit Lions are going for it all for the number one overall seed in the NFC. Who's going to win? It's in Detroit. It could go either way. Let me know what you think down in the comments below and let's talk about it. Sam Darnold has been the cornerstone of the Minnesota Vikings offense this year. He's turned everything around. It just goes to show again, I've said this many times, all it takes is the right coach, the right system, and any quarterback can thrive. I mean, look at Tom Brady. Look what he was able to do, and he's not even the best. He's probably one of the worst athletes ever. 7 Super Bowl rings. Well, you know. But Sam Darnold, not saying the Vikings are gonna win it all, but they very well could. I mean, I'm a Packer fan, so I watch what he did to us the 2 games. Sure, very well, the Packers made near comebacks in both games, but again, they kicked our ass from start to finish in just about both games. And sure, I do think in my deepest heart of hearts that the Packers, should they meet the Vikings again, will beat them in the playoffs because, like I've always said, it is hard to beat an opponent 3 times, especially in a divisional opponent that you know more than anything. But maybe that's different this year. But the Vikings have all the pieces right now. Their defense has been playing great. They still have Harrison Smith, who's still one of the best to come around. Jonathan Grenard has been a great addition on the defensive side of the ball for sure. They have so many different ways to master blitzes. I mean, Brian Flores is a master at it. Anthony Van Ginkel has been a great pickup as well. And the offense, Sam Darnold, most importantly, huge piece. Then you pair him with um, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, Josh Naylor, and TJ Hawkinson, and you got a well-oiled machine, and then Aaron Jones. But remember, I also am a Packer fan, so Aaron Jones has fumbled the ball more times than I can count at times. So, Vikings fans, you don't want to hear this, but Aaron Jones could very well fumble in the playoffs. He has done it before. Will Reichert is one of the better kickers of this year, but he's missed a lot of kicks of late. And I know I got this from a couple people in my comment section that Will Reichert just had a temporary case of the doinks. Very well could be. But again, last game against the Packers was a big game, but it's not the kind of pressure you're going to face in the playoffs. It's going to get tanked up to like a 15. So we will see what Will Reichert is able to do in the playoffs. We know he's a good kicker, but he is also a rookie. He's very young. He could very well come down to the like Will Reichert in the playoffs, which is very likely to do because I don't see the Vikings blowing out really anybody they could possibly face in the NFC playoffs, and that includes the Packers. Yes, I know you beat our ass twice, but still, you still nearly lost in both games. So right now, the Vikings do look like in the favorite game in this game, but let's talk about the Lions a little bit. Jahmyr Gibbs is the lone piece in that rushing attack left. David Montgomery out for the rest of the season, but Jahmyr Gibbs has been no slouch. He's been absolutely fantastic, able to switch on a dime and go up the field like nobody else. Jameson Williams is a real wild card for the Lions. We know what he can do. We know he can make great plays. But every now and then, he just doesn't. He just doesn't anything. He's one of those guys where, like, oh, he'll give you over 100 yards or 100 combined yards, a couple touchdowns, and then he'll have like one catch for 9. But when he's on, especially we saw with the 49ers game, that classic hook and ladder play that went for 42 yards. He's fantastic. He's one of those gadget players that you can throw into any situation, and more times than not, he'll do well. But also other times that he just will lay an egg. Amon-Ra St. Brown is one of the best wide receivers in the league. He's as good of a possession wide receiver as you can get. He can catch everything. He can run every route, and he's going to be a thorn in the side of the Vikings on Sunday night. And then, of course, we have couple other guys out there. They have a great offensive line, one of the best in the league that is held up with Taylor Decker missing a large portion of the season, and he's just fit back into that offensive line like nobody else. And then Jared Goff. Jared Goff, again, is the great equalizer. He's been great, putting up MVP numbers once again. Other than that one game against Houston where he threw 5 interceptions, it's been pretty darn solid. And I continue to see him doing that against the Vikings this week. Now, again, the Vikings are a good team, and they have a really good defense. But we saw what the Lions were able to do early on in the season, and they won 31-29 in a very close game. Now, yes, the Lions are missing a lot of the pieces from them, but they were still able to hold up against the Vikings. Now, the ultimate thing about the Lions is their defense. They have great pieces. They have Brian Branch, who is a big hitter. They have Kirby Joseph, who leads the league in interceptions and was somehow kept out of the Pro Bowl. I mean, it doesn't matter because the Lions will probably not need to have, or their players won't be playing in the Pro Bowl. But it is interesting to note that their defense, while it has a couple of really good pieces on it, they give up a lot of yards. And the Vikings being one of the better offenses this year, Sam Darnold could carve up that Lions defense like a Thanksgiving turkey. I think it's pretty likely, but I also think the Lions are going to be able to get to the Vikings defense. The Lions are going to be able to score, the Vikings are going to be able to score, and it's going to be a high-scoring affair. In the end, I think the game ultimately comes down to which kicker is the best. Which one do you trust more? Do you trust Jake Bates or do you trust Will Reichert? I think it ultimately comes down to a field goal type decision because we know Justin Jefferson is going to be flying high, Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to be flying high, and both teams are going to be able to run the ball with ease. Yes, I know the Vikings were able to, are one of the best rushing defenses in the league. I think number 1 in yards allowed in the league, but Jahmyr Gibbs is just another animal, and he was able to do really well against the Vikings earlier in the year. So we shall see which team wins out, which running attack wins out, which receiving attack wins out. And again, another reason why this game is going to be close is going to come down to turnover battle. Both teams have been pretty good at holding on to the ball this year. Not too many games for the Vikings. Sure, there's been a couple games where Sam Darnold's had a lot of interceptions, but he's kept that down more than he has from years past. And for the Lions, other than, like I said, that one game against the Texans, Jared Goff has kept his interception total down for the most part. Whoever wins the turnover battle, whoever wins the kicking battle, probably wins this game. It is in Detroit, so that could be the great equalizer. That place is going to be rocking as expected. And very well, both teams have a really good chance. I think if I were to pick a team that needs to win it the most, I would say the Lions. Because if the Lions lose, they go down to 5th. And they lose out on a home game. Not saying that they can't beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers or the Atlanta Falcons, which is the teams they will most likely play. But Tampa Bay beat them this year. It was a low-scoring game, but whatever the Tampa Buccaneers did, they were able to get to the Lions. Now, Tampa Bay's defense has been playing much better of late. Sure, they haven't been playing the best competition, but their team as overall has been playing really well. So I think it becomes for the Lions to win the most. I just think the Lions need that home field advantage more than the Vikings do right now, just because of how good the Vikings defense is, and Viking defense usually travels in the cold, on the road. But yeah, I'm going to go with the Lions in this game. It's going to be really close. In the end, I think the Lions win 34-31. Yeah, it's going to be a really high-scoring game, but I think the Lions ultimately win out. They get the home field advantage. Vikings go to 5th. They end up probably playing the winner of the NFC South, and that's all she wrote. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. Let me know if I gave your teams justice. Vikings and Lions fans, I try to be fair to your teams. I truly do. I I don't shit on your teams. Well, at least I try not to. But I just both teams have issues. Both teams have issues that could totally hurt them come playoff time. Yes, Vikings fans, you have a kicker problem, and Aaron Jones can still fumble the ball from time to time in big games because he's definitely done it a couple times in the past. But again, it'll come down to whoever controls the turnovers best and whoever wins the kicking game. But it's going to be a great game, probably the best game of the week. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. Have a great day, and as always, go back home.